The NHL is terrified this is happening as the Maple Leafs come out and get a statement win on the back of a bunch of different players tonight. Joseph Wall, William Nylander, Matthew Knies, Bobby McMann looks great. Morgan Riley looking a little bit and is looking a little bit better. A big win. It was a big win for the Toronto Maple Leafs, one they desperately need. And as we're approaching the Four Nations Cup, each win matters. Each win is closer and spreading them apart, closer, depending on the standings on a given day, to being first in the Atlantic Division, especially with Ottawa on their tail. But Darius, it was a great game. What's up, Shane, Crank, Eric, Gavin, Bobby, Jim, of course, from Cuba. Gentlemen of the club, everybody welcome in. I see some of you guys talking about how it's late for me. It is 1:33 in the morning. It is 1:33 in the morning, but we're here, and I'm happy. It's going to be a late night. It's a late night stream, but that's what happens when on the West Coast. Big win against a Canadian team.
Well, first of all, Nick, thank you for joining us on the stream here after your morning coffee. Very nice to see you this morning.
It is the morning, yeah.
Yes. And great win for the Leafs here. Absolutely great win. They needed this one. They needed Saturday and they needed this one. I think they need Thursday as well just to stay in the race. Florida lost tonight. Obviously, the Leafs are right in behind them again now at this point. Florida has a ton of games, or more games played, I should say. So the Leafs have a couple games in hand. I didn't realize how tight, like I knew how tight the East was, but wow, like there's a couple teams just 4 points behind the Leafs at this point. It is tight. Boston's right there. So a couple of big games coming up tomorrow. The Rangers could do the Leafs a favor with that. Obviously, Ottawa lost tonight to Tampa. I would say that was a favor of the Leafs, but not really because Tampa's in the mix too. So East is very tight, and not just the wild card positions right now, the Atlantic too. So Leafs got to keep winning, and they have a couple big opportunities here to do that on Thursday and Saturday as well against Vancouver. So the Seattle game is a must win again, I think. But this was a big win. A couple guys playing really well.
Yeah, let's dive into a couple of those guys. I'm from Newfoundland, Gavin. I'm from Newfoundland. Very, very East Coast. But talk about some of the guys who played well. Bobby McMann had a great game. William Nylander with the hat trick, of course. That Austin Matthews had a great game as well. Obviously didn't score tonight. Joseph Wall as well. Solid performance. And now we're on the brink of an Anthony Stolar's return. Just a lot of good things going on in tonight's game. And again, we're in the middle of the season. But unlike previous years, this middle of the season matters a lot. Like you mentioned, the East is so tight. The Leafs need to win the Atlantic. They should. They were as high, I think, 6 points up there a couple weeks ago. They need to start, getting back and making up more ground there. I'm happy with the way they played tonight. It's a good step. It's 2 wins in a row now. They had a big win against the Oilers, of course, on Saturday. And just getting momentum as you approach the, I'm going to call it All-Star break, whatever you want to call it, the Four Nations Cup break, is going to be absolutely critical here down the stretch, especially now as you start to get healthy. There's some things with Mitch Marner. There's some things with a lot of the guys here. Got to get healthy. And again, this is a game without Mitch Marner. Still don't really know, what's fully going on with him, but it's steps in the right direction. And Morgan Riley did have a solid game. +3, 3 shots on goal, looked a little bit more aggressive, got a little bit more ice time tonight as well, got an assist, and we take it.
Yeah, he looked a lot better tonight, honestly. He was shooting. I love how much they were shooting tonight, OEL included, just everybody. I love, all the shots on goal. We'll get to it in a second.
Thank you so much for the donation there. Hailing, good evening. Tonight's game played in my hometown with the desired outcome, and Willie gets a second hat trick on the 8th anniversary of his last one. Good to see the Buds winning again. Yes, Paul, thank you again for your continued support on this late night. I guess it's not as late for you if you're living in Calgary, where your hometown is. I believe you are living in Calgary. I think you've told us that before. But either way, thank you for the 10, and I agree. The Leafs, we knew they were, after the 4-game losing streak, they were going to come back. I think it was 4. They're going to come back out and win. That was going to happen. They did, and they answered the bell.
Yeah, they did. And I also saw a stat, we might have it here, but I saw a stat on the broadcast that the Leafs have the #1 power play since January 15th. So again, sample size. Small sample size, yeah, and it could have fooled me, but they actually apparently have the best power play in the last 3 weeks or so. So that is progress. That's definitely progress, and I did like it. Obviously, love it tonight. Yeah, right there. So #1 power play since January 15th, according to James Duffy on the panel. And again, didn't seem that way. I thought they were still struggling, but apparently over the last 3 weeks, they've been really good. And they got a couple goals here tonight as well. It looked really good tonight. I like the shots from the point. Again, Riley had a good game. He just looked more aggressive. Everything that, came out from Craig Berube, what he was talking about, I feel like Riley applied.
Yeah, as Eric comes in with the $13.99. Your support for a late night stream. Appreciate it. Big difference in Domi and 44 tonight. And Darius, I hope you enjoy your Saturday night off. Yeah, we were talking about it. Deserved a night off. He deserved a night off here. And
perhaps 2.
Another night off coming next Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Eric, by the way. Eric was in the call for most of it, kind of playing the Darius role. So on Saturday.
Thank you, Eric.
Eric, if you're available next Saturday, I'm right back here. And I'm pretty sure, is it a late one? Might not be a late one.
No, it's 7 o'clock
Okay,
start.
well, there you go.
Vancouver gets that 4 p.m. local start. Let's go. That's the Maple Leafs power right there, baby. Let's
Darius
go.
taking more time off. He's leaving me with the Saturdays.
We'll be locked in for
As
the playoffs
Jim
here.
comes in,
Let's
gentlemen, been trying to call via Zoom. Help.
let me troubleshoot here. Let me get on that.
Okay, we'll let Darius. What's giving you the issue, Jim? I'd love to have you call in from Cuba.
Yeah,
I know you tried to call in last time, I think, as well. I know I was soloing that one. Midnight over here. We're staying up. What's up, Positive? Vancouver always has gripes about that. Yep. 2 games deep in a 6-game heater. I mean, they can go out and win 6, 7 in a row as the deadline is about a month away now. It is going to be huge. Also, if you're new here, hit the like button. If you're enjoying the late night stream, again, probably midnight for most of you guys, 1:40 in the morning, almost for me here. It's and listen, I will kind of take some credit back away from myself. I'm up this time almost every night. This isn't some anomaly, but still here. Keep getting errors.
Jim, if you call again, it should work now. I think I figured out the problem.
Give it a go again, Jim.
Should be the same number should work. I think I figured it out.
Knowing Jury and how lucky he is, he would sell Lafreniere for Morgan Riley. I don't know if it's an interesting one.
My goodness.
Let's go over some of the stats that Darius pulled out here. So Bobby McMann, a career 16th goal of the season, a career high. He is having a year. And talking about some guys who have been underperforming this year, talking about some guys who have been, playing really solid. Bobby McMann has been that guy this year, and it's incredible to see. And he always steps up every single time when there are injuries or something of that nature.
If Jim's able to call in here, I'm going to look really good as an IT specialist, but it was just a very simple fix. I think it should work. But anyway, career high 16th goal on the season. We're not done the year yet.
Blake was membership message. Marner's going back with Matthews when he's back.
He will. As much as we hate it here on the channel, at least, it's going to happen. But back to McMann, I have to give Jim credit again. His boy McMann. I mean, he's had a great season so far. Year's not done. He's probably going to get 25 goals. He is playing at a $5.2 million pace, and he makes 1.4 or something like that. Like great value contract until the end of next year, by the way. So the Leafs have a great cup window in the next 2 years. That's for sure. They got to get it done. So McMann's been great. Again, he's playing at I saw somewhere on Twitter, the projection for his output is $5.2 million or something like that. And he's signed to 1.4. It's crazy. So he's been playing fantastic.
Yeah. Shout out to Bobby McMann. It has been absolutely fantastic. And not only to mention that, he is because he's been able to step up so much in the absence of some of the other guys, it's made the Austin Matthews-less games, or in this case, I mean, for the first time this year, I believe, Mitch Marner-less games, a little bit easier to swallow. They played well without Mitchie. They did. And again, we still don't know. I don't believe he came out and said any update on that. So
a lower body tightness, he should be back on. We're talking about Mitch Marner.
Yes,
right?
correct.
Yeah. Lower body tightness, he should be back on Thursday.
Perfect. So he'll be back in probably 3 to 4 weeks then.
Yeah, he'll be back in 3 months. Yeah.
Hopefully
day to day, week to week, month to month. Here we go now. We'll see how
Florida
that
and Ottawa both lost as well. So it was a big day for the standings with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And again, Bobby McMann is on pace for 25 goals by the end of this season. Nice value for the 28-year-old who's making $1.35 million for another season after this one. They have him under control for another season, which very important.
Great value. And to answer your question, Gavin, I don't know. The Leafs are going to have quite a few this year. I think 20 goal scorers, the most in history. I believe it's Don Cherry's Boston Bruins because he wouldn't shut up about it ever. So I believe that it's actually his Boston Bruins. But that's a great question. Right now, I'm not sure, but it could be the Leafs. They're going to have 4, 5 of them. So
a lot of them.
6 of them maybe at this point. Actually, you got Nyes in there. McMahon's going to reach that. Nylander's definitely there. Matthews, Tavares, Marner, I would assume would get there. It's good company. That's a lot of 20 goal scores. That's good.
And Ryan Reeves is in tonight.
Ryan Reeves is in tonight. He had a breakaway. He had a breakaway.
One shot on goal.
The entire bench shot up like somebody got knocked out in a UFC fight. It was a good one. That I wish he would have scored that. That would have been good. I don't think he scored since Winnipeg a season ago or something like that. So it's been a tough one for him. But nice to see him get a breakaway nonetheless.
Yeah, it's your boy right there.
That is, well, okay, settle down now. I don't know.
Gurbankin needs to play. I don't believe Gurbankin is even, I think he's back with the Marlies. I believe they sent him down.
Gurbankin is back with the Marlies, yes.
Oh.
I think. Actually, I thought I saw that. I'm pretty sure they sent him
I
down
saw
and
that as
called
well.
up Dakota Murmis.
Correct.
Yeah,
I think we
I think
covered.
that's what
I think I was supposed to cover that today. Looking for his first goal of the year, offensive threat. He is a heavy offensive threat for the other team, probably.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
Anthony Stolar is playing Thursday, finally, and we'll both be here for the stream on Thursday. For Anthony Stolar's, hopefully, I'm excited.
2025 debut.
Let's not forget, I am a huge Stolar's truther. He's probably he's one of my favorite Leafs this season. And before he went down, he was Cy Young baseball. He was Vezina caliber. He was
equivalent.
Yeah. Someone said Patches was invisible. He had the assist, but other than that, he was a little bit. But again, I mean, he's old.
One of the Nylander goals, I think it was the second one. Man, it's a 3-on-1 with Pacioretty and Tavares, and he goes, nah, I don't need either of you. And he just goes like he makes it a 1-on-1, shoots it and scores. It's so ridiculous. Like
Willie.
He's just so good, man. I don't know about the best two-way player, but he's definitely their most consistent. He's their most consistent and clutch player. I think on this team.
By far the most consistent player, which is crazy when you have Austin Matthews in your team. But
yeah, it's insane.
Mitch Marner's also. You could also argue Mitch Marner is the most consistent this year offensively when it comes to total point production.
Contract year.
Nikita seems so happy to be playing. Great energy. Yeah, I think he's a bit too small for Craig Berube's play style.
I think he can play in the system. I think he just has. We're seeing it with Nylander.
He has some work to do around the edges.
Yes. There you go. And he's going to figure that out in the AHL, and he's going to come up and be a fine player, I think. Because it doesn't matter. It does matter what size you are, but if you play the right way, I don't really think it does. Because Yanni Gord's made a good living in the NHL and won a Stanley Cup. So I think that he'll be a good player. You just got to put it all together, North American game.
You think Connor Timmins died for the penalty because he was back on the next shift?
He probably got dinged up.
Everyone does that.
I don't know. He looked, I don't know. He looked like he was in trouble there. Didn't look good for a second. And then on the broadcast, they're like, this is a guy who's missed 300 games due to injury. And I'm like, okay, well, chill, man. Let him get to the bench. We'll see what happens.
Jim, is it working? I feel like Jim's back to his Cuba. Mo!
Jim is in the pool right now.
Yeah,
I don't think he tried again.
Back in the pool. Mo, good evening, everyone. This is a great time for Mo. Why are you all up? Mo, it's almost 2 a.m. for me. The reason is because we're dedicated to these streams.
And a big Leafs win.
And a Leafs win. We would have went live with a loss, for what it's worth.
Oh, for sure. But the vibes are much higher.
Shout out to 76 of you in here on a Tuesday night. I guess for me it's Wednesday.
Wednesday morning.
Technically, yeah. It was a nice Wednesday morning. It was Wednesday morning stream. Alex Teasney to be called up. He's almost a goal a game and over a point with the Marlies. He could be the Leafs are looking for and be the next Bobby McMann. Interesting. Downloading random follow ups when I call you from a random number. Interesting. I guess because you're in Cuba, probably.
Oh, yeah. You can't call from his phone. I was like, why would you do that?
Dedication indeed.
That totally makes sense.
Hope you're doing well, Mo. Hope everything is well
Absolutely.
with you. I'm glad to see you in here. I guess for you, it's a lot earlier. It's in Calgary, and it's cold. Oh, it's cold everywhere. I think now it's my car wiper broke today. It was so cold. Snapped clean off.
That is a thing that happens sometimes. Yeah, that is
clean off.
When I say sometimes, rarely ever.
No, Mo with the 5 gifted to Super Noob, Chloe CH, Jimbo Bananas, and Jack Muscle. If you got gifted a membership, make sure to thank Mo. Mo, thank you again. Your continued support. 9:15, beautiful time for you for the stream. Mo, hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully your family's doing well. And thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. As always, it's much appreciated.
Yeah. This is a great question, actually, with everything that's going on in the NBA. Who is the equivalent to the Dallas Mavericks GM in the NHL? I can't even.
A ton, Paul.
Phoenix or Arizona when they had a team, maybe? Like,
the
Predators. Probably more ownership.
Just kidding.
No.
They made good moves, bad execution.
They got everyone. They pulled an NHL 24 or 25 when you acquire all the players in free agency and then you put them like on the same team and it's like chemistry -5.
Yeah. I'd say Kyle Dubas has been pretty bad.
Kyle Dubas,
Mo said the same thing.
Yeah.
What's up, Nakash?
That's funny. What's up, Nakash?
Robert with the 5. I just hope when Stolarz comes back and does not have a great couple games, the Leafs fans won't be down on him. That is Thursday. I have full faith that Stolarz are going to have a 48-shot shutout.
Oh, bold. I don't think they're going to allow 48 shots. I hope. I said that against Edmonton. Oops. They did win.
Thank you again, Robert, for the 5. I think Stolarz is going to come back a little rusty and then be fine. I think he's going to be good. Dubas is sucking Pittsburgh. It has been bad. Drury of the Rangers has been.
I think the Chris Drury thing is overplayed. He's made some good moves to retool. Objectively, if you look at them, like he got JT Miller. It's a good move.
They did get JT Miller.
He got JT Miller. So retooling on the fly. I feel like we don't have to defend Chris Drury on this stream, but I'm just gonna say he wanted to trade the captain in the offseason. He understood the problems, but it lingered. But anyway,
we need to get Nelson or Mayfield from the Isles. Ryan O'Reilly, Shen, not the Predators. Dylan Cousins or Braden Shen would be good options as well. I like Dylan Cousins a lot. Stolarz hasn't even had a bad game, which is funny. Yeah, the entire season, Stolarz has yet to have a bad game.
Yeah. I can think of maybe one against Florida, and I feel like it was their play that was actually the problem. Not him.
I think it was. He gave up 3 or 4, but I don't think it was really his fault.
It was bad because he let in 4 goals.
I believe we have Eric waiting to call in.
Perfect. I want to talk some trades actually because I feel like a lot of people are putting in like Mayfield, Ryan O'Reilly, all these guys.
Eric will be down to talk some trades. Full transparency, going to be a shorter stream today.
Yeah.
Just warning all of you. Approaching 2 a.m. Who won the game? I was sick. Hey, Joshua, I hope you're feeling better. The Leafs got to win 6-3. Great use of that emoji.
Nylander with the hat trick and his second of his, which is hard to believe, by the way, second NHL career hat trick. And it was on the 8th anniversary of his first one.
Yep. Shout out to Paul for that and the donation too. Yeah. Sorry guys, can't get to work. No Collins from midnight. James, don't worry. Have a drink.
No worries,
me
Jim.
Or on us and enjoy.
We will
Cuba.
talk to you soon. Yes.
Someone asked, how is William Nylander not on line 1? By far your top goal scorer, 33 goals over double Marner's goals.
Go ahead.
I think if they do split it up, it would be Nyes, Matthews, Nylander. I mean, I think they could. They probably should, but
they've tried it. I think they've tried it. I think it's just the dynamic of.
I mean, like, there's a world the guys just don't want it. Like, there's probably a world where like the actual players don't want to like change anything that's rocking.
I think Matthews and Marner want to play together. I think that's a big reason as to why they play together.
I agree. Eric, what happened?
Donation
from Mo. Sorry, I was that wrong tab open. Darius said JT would be traded to the Rangers before the end of January. Kudos to Darius. Insider Darius coming in now with the Insider Darius. Mo, thank you so much for the
I said it on stream.
It was a
That's
good
a
call.
great point.
That's an incredible memory you have there.
I forgot about that, Mo. I actually did say that on this stream, so thank you. And thank you for the donation.
Blake with the $13.99 as well. I know Stolarz is A, but Wall is so good, so they got to keep switching games so none of them gets injured. I feel most confident with this goalie tandem since I was born. Can't wait for the playoffs. Blake, the playoffs are going to be electric. Cannot wait. We're inching closer and closer. The deadline is inching closer and closer. Thank you, Blake. Mo, excellent call on that. Good shout on that, as they say. It was a... he did call that. Maybe I'll throw a little hot take out there. That wasn't that hot, but maybe a little. Nick Robertson is traded by the end of the deadline, guaranteed. That's my guarantee.
Yeah. We'll hold you to that, but I feel like that might be happening. You were on the Stolarz train and Pacioretty train the entire time, so I'll give you credit for that.
Specifically, actually, Pacioretty. I was heavy on that from the first rumbling in one of our chats. All right, let's get Blake and Eric in here for a little go before our 3 stars. Let me also, your guys support. We're at 19 likes. Try to get to 30 likes. 79 of you in here, which is really your guys' support's good. I mean, it's 12-20 for most of you, I would assume. Stolarz gonna need a couple of games to get back into the swing of things. Yeah, I'm not gonna overreact either way. They need to get wins though. John Tavares looked good as well following injury. So
nice goal for him too. 2 goals, but one was called back. I didn't even think that was over the crossbar, but anyway, I saw a couple different angles, but I don't know what they're looking at the in the truck or whatever, or back at the,
It's okay. We got blessed in that Oilers game, even though it was definitely offside by John Klingberg.
John Klingberg, yes. Thank you, John. Still playing for the Leafs.
All right, Eric, welcome to the call-in. It's gonna be a shorter one today. Just full warning. It's almost 2 a.m. here, but great game, and let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, hey Nick, hey Darius. Hope all is well. It was nice to see Domi finally be Domi this year. It was quite amazing to see how fast he was moving out there and looking for the puck. And we've been talking about this for a couple of months, which is why they need another centerman. So on that third line, he can play like that on the third line. But when he has Holmberg as a center, like he doesn't play to his full potential. I think he needs a stronger centerman, which I know Darius likes to talk about trade talk. So what's your thoughts? And I also thought that Morgan Riley had a much better game tonight. First period, second period, he was engaging. He was in the play, taking shots. I know he did cough up the puck in the third period, 2 turnovers, but it's going to happen. But it was a big step up. Those were the 2 guys that needed to improve that I've seen step up tonight for sure.
Yeah, I think Riley had a noticeably better game for me, as if again, somebody sat him down and was like, we need these certain things out of you, and he was following the feedback, which I think was good. Obviously, great performances from the most notable guys like Nylander and stuff like that. But again, Domi looked like he was very noticeable to me again tonight, which was good. Normally don't really notice him on the third line there. To me, in terms of trade talk, if we're going to get into that, we know they need a center. If Yarncroke looks like he's going to be returning, maybe before the playoffs, or he looks like he's going to get healthy, I think you trade Nick Robertson anyway. I feel like I'm off that train at this point. We know what this team needs. You trade Nick Robertson, and at this point too, Holmberg, almost every offensive play dies on his stick. I don't know if he has a future with this team. I liked him a couple years ago because maybe the bottom 6 was that bad. I don't know what it is about this year or the new style, the system. It just doesn't work with him. I feel like all these plays are dying on a stick. So I feel like they got to trade maybe those 2. Maybe Yarncroke can come in and play like a depth role if somebody gets injured. And then again, you go out and get maybe another depth defenseman we've been talking about. You need a center. I'm on the Ryan O'Reilly train 100%. If he's open to coming back because it's a different coach and a different system, I would go out and get that player. He has term. He knows how to win. The last time he was here, he performed in the playoffs. So I would go get him. Eric, I don't know what you're thinking about, who to trade for, or who should be, who should leave the Leafs. But I think it's about to get pretty interesting because teams are going to start making trades. I think right after 4 Nations or even leading up, things are going to get crazy.
Yeah, so I have speculations, and I know you guys had a stream a couple of days ago about the Leafs wanting to target possibly a top 6 center. And the reason why, and I was thinking about it tonight during the intermission, is that John Tavares, is no secret that he's getting up there in age. Yep. His next contract, what will it look like? Will it be $5-6 million? With the cap going up, that can be a real good fit. And honestly, Tavares, I love the guy, and they would eventually be a perfect third-line center. So with that being said, do they go ahead and try to find a second C, and trade a mitten or a center? They were talking today, with all the trades that's been happening and all the centers that's been gone that the Leafs were linked to, who does that leave us? So yes, they brought up Scott Laughton. So I looked them up tonight when they were talking about that, and they both, him and O'Reilly, have an extra year term. Yep. They're both 6'1". Just O'Reilly's a bit heavier, to be honest. And for points, they're very similar, but I do see a fit now. And not saying that he's a second line center by all means, but if their plan is thinking about the future, well, Tavares and another year or 2, he might not be able to keep up with a second line center with speed and back checking and whatnot. So do they go ahead this year and try to find, because he doesn't have a contract yet. We don't know where he's going. We know we'd like to have him stay as a Leaf and get a discount, but with the cap going up next year, and in a couple of years it's projected to go up, that just throws a curveball into Tree Living's plan, I think, and it's going to be tough. But I do agree we got to get rid of Holmberg and Robertson. But again, that's not a big, contract on the cap, the Leafs to dish out, but it's a start. But you put Hockenpah on LTIR for the rest of the year. I don't want to see that guy. Maybe the Oilers sign him next year with Klingberg. Who knows? But yeah, what's your thought, guys? Do you think there's a chance that we're going to see the Leafs make a big splash? Because again, we've talked about it, that it's the cup window, the last year where we got possibly Marner and Tavares. Do they try to make a splash and get rid of Mitten? Because I think Cowan, I'd rather keep Cowan right now. He hasn't developed yet, so he's probably not worth as much as Mitten. But what's your guys' thought on that?
Yeah, I think I'll let Darius speak because I don't know your thought. I think there's a world where it happens. I don't think it's the likely outcome. I'd probably give it a 20% chance of happening regarding like a blockbuster, like a huge move like JT Miller, anything we've been speaking about. That being said, I do think that the funny part is I think it's a 20% chance that there's a blockbuster, but I think there's a very likely possibility that one of Fraser Minten or Easton Cowan are traded, not in a massive deal, but in somebody that is very solid that would usually probably, command a first-ish or a second-round pick, and they go ahead and use one of their forwards for there. And I'd argue that Cowan has more value than Minten when it comes to depending on the team you're trading with. Now, if you're talking with a team where obviously Minten, we've seen what he can do at the NHL level in the sense of Fraser Minten's floor is a lot higher than Easton Cowan. If Easton Cowan ends up not developing the way that we hope, and he ends up being, he looked pretty bad a couple months ago there. So it was like, it's riskier to trade Cowan because he could be a star. Whereas with Minten, I think his floor is like, his floor obviously is like a fourth line center, but I think his like realistic floor is probably a third line center, and his ceiling, of course, ceiling's first round. His like likely outcome is between second and third line here. So I think there's a good chance that they move one of those two, but it's not in a per se a blockbuster deal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes 100% sense. Like the way I see it right now, going into the playoffs, game one, first line, you're going to have Matthew Nyes, Austin Matthew, Mitch Marner. Second line, John Tavares, Willie Nylander, and Bobby McMann. I haven't liked the game of Patch's second half of the season. And during the playoff, depending who they face, you need a lot of speed. You got Tavares and Patches up there in ages, while Willie's fast, but he's also not the greatest back checker. He has his games here and there, but McMann, Tavares, and Willie, that's a dangerous second line, especially the way McMahon's been playing this season, career high in goals. Matthew Nyes is having one heck of good thing the cap is going up, because he's gonna get paid probably more than Slafkovsky. Yep. And I hate to say it too, with the cap going up, doesn't matter what happens to the Leafs. I do think Marner is gonna stay. He is probably going to sign a bit higher than Matthews, but that's okay because, Matthews only signed 4 years because he knew that the cap was probably going to go up in his second year term or whatnot. Then it's all just a bunch of politics. But again, that bottom six needs some, touch-ups. But if Järnkrok comes back, I think he plays the right wing, if I'm not mistaken. And, you got Domi, then if you get a good center, that can be a good third line, because Calle Järnkrok, he plays defensively as well. And he reminds me of Kerfoot back in the day, where he can move up and down the lineup. He was that kind of a player. And then the fourth line, I think it might be time also to trade Connor Dewar. Ryan Reeves, if they want to keep him, but that's still a big, $1.3 million on the cap. Steven Lorentz, you got to agree with me that he needs to stay on that fourth line.
Yep.
And camp. So we're missing, maybe one center for the third line. You're missing one winger for the fourth line. And then, maybe a defense. That's where I'm looking at right now going into the playoffs.
I do agree with you in terms of what they need, the holes with this team. Reeves, there's no way Reeves touches the ice after game 2 or 3 of whatever series that they're in. I could see him starting a series, but he's just not going to be there after that. Again, I think that they can go out and do, call Kyle Dubas and be ask Malkin to waive his no-trade clause, and we'll send you your boy, Fraser Minten, right? And just see what happens. Because Malkin's a guy, I know a lot of people are he's not good defensively. The guy knows how to win, and he's still at an age that if you put him on a team where he had purpose and you could come and win a Stanley Cup, he would be that good. So I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying if you wanted to go out and do something like that, then I'd be okay with trading an Easton Cowan or Fraser Minten if you went out and got, especially a younger second line center, a guy who can really make a difference. But again, the salary cap would have to allow for that. Then I'd be okay with that. But what I think is most likely is they're going to go out and get, I think that I'm starting to change my mind a little bit on what we've heard, and we're going to have a video, I think, tomorrow on it, with the Chicago Blackhawks. I think they're actually a very good trade partner. They have Donato, who is a very underrated center. who could be a decent third line option for now until they figure it out with what they want to do with Tavares maybe next season, right? And maybe in the offseason they could sign a second line center or something. But he could be a good option, and Murphy on the back end, right shot defenseman, could play instead of Philippe Meyer or Hakanpää, who looks like might not play this year at all at this point. So I don't know. I'm looking at that. There's a couple different options too, but I think that's most likely. That's more in Brad Living's DNA. They could go out and make all these crazy moves, and because it's possible, right? And they can do it and really upgrade the team. I just don't know if I actually see this team doing that, because we've seen it year in, year out. Like besides that 1 year in 23 with Kyle Dubas, they haven't really, you know, shot for the stars or anything like that. But it's crazy because this is the year I feel like you do that. So I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I think there's a lot of mid options that they can work with just because of where they are with the salary cap. But it's going to get interesting. Marner, I like what you brought up too. Like circumstances changed. Maybe he is making more than Matthews, right? And Matthews signed that 4 year deal because, like you said, a lot of people thought, oh, it's so he can like opt out and leave if he wants. No, I think it's because he knows in 4 years he can make almost $20 million a year. So we'll see what happens with that. But Marner's going to be an interesting one heading into the offseason too.
Yeah, it's not so much making more than Matthew. It's the percentage on the
Correct.
cap, which a lot of people get confused sometimes. But on that note, Darius, so when you're talking about Connor Murphy, I would like that signing. The only thing is that I think his cap hit is 4.5 or 4.4. So if the Leafs are making a deal with Chicago, and right now I don't think Chicago can retain any salary because they have 50% of Mikko Rantanen for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And they cannot make a deal and say next year on his last year you can retain, because you got to retain from the time of the signing until the end of the contract. You can't just retain 1 year. So that's going to be a tough, fit for the Leafs to try to make that work. Again, I think with Hakanpää, that's 1.47, and if they got to get rid of a lot of players, and even then, that's going to be tough to make. We would have to get rid of, Connor Timmins or Dakota Mermis or Matt Benning, depending what their contracts are. I would obviously keep Simon Benoit, but would you guys prefer Philippe Myers over Connor Timmins?
Well, maybe not actually. I think that he's good in the regular season, but come playoffs, I would have to see it, right? I just don't know, because there are times, to me, Myers seems a little, deer in the headlights and kind of running around. I've seen so far this year. So I don't know about that with Timmins. I feel like Timmins is, at times he's not the greatest, but he's kind of steady. Exactly what you're getting out of him. He's very consistent in that way, more so than Myers. So I think that'll be interesting. And I think Chicago can't retain cap, but you can always you're going to have to give up another asset, but you can get another team involved too, because you're going to have to send assets the other way. And I think Chicago would love Nick Robertson. I think they'd be all over that.
He's gone. Nick Robertson's gone.
Yeah, for sure.
And one other thing to note, I think they'd probably if they had to pick one between Myers and Timmins right now, I'm 85% sure they'd pick Connor Timmins if they had to cut one or the other.
Probably just based on experience, but it could get
I don't think it's necessarily the right call. Also based on what they did at the start of the season. Now, he had some really bad games, but I don't know. I think he's played a little bit better than not a little bit better. Good. I don't think he's played great recently, but I feel like the internal evaluation of him has shown to be better than clearly they value him more than we value him, is the point I'm getting at.
Yeah, 100%. And so again, we got 2 more games here before heading to the Four Nations. Like Darius said, I do think that it was just kind of a maintenance day. I'm fine if, Marner wants a maintenance day. He's played all year.
Yep.
He's going to be a big part of us in the playoffs. And, Matthew too, I know he had injuries and all that, but depending where they are, last year at the end of the season, I wouldn't have played all our stars the last 4 games to get 70 goals. Boo freaking who cares? Getting past the second round is more important for me to get 70 goals here. And you know what? We paid for it in the first round against the Bruins, so. But again, we can talk about this every video. We know what we need. It's just a matter of, I think the Leafs might. I think it would be different if we would have lost probably 2 games, 3, 4. If it would have been a sweep out west, then I think 3 would add to to do something dramatic and maybe something they'll regret. But we got 4 points out of the 8 so far. We got 2 more games before the Four Nations, and then like I said, maybe they have centermen in their eyes that play in the Four Nation. We don't know, and you don't want to make a big contribution, and then they get injured in the Four Nations. Like, we don't know what's gonna pan out. But boy, am I excited, and I hope I get to see number 41 in nets for Seattle. It's well overdue, and I do think he was supposed to play tonight. But Calgary, they've been stepping up in the rankings. They're hungry. They're gonna be. Look how busy they were in front of the net today. So it's probably a safer bet to put him against Seattle, who's been sliding down a bit in the standings, and we got a lot of injuries going on as well. So we'll be excited to see him.
Yeah, and ultimately it's going to be I'm excited for it. I don't dare say how you feel about the Stolarz. I'm a huge Stolarz guy, so I'm of course extremely excited about it.
No, I love Joseph Woll. He's been playing great, but once Stolarz comes back, I think that's a great thing. Even if he plays more than, my goaltender of choice, which is Joseph Woll, and not of choice, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I love Joseph Woll, but if he comes in and plays almost every game, we don't see much of Joseph Woll. That's fine. I just care about the Leafs winning, right? And I think that he's played well, and Joseph Woll's done his job since Anthony Stolarz went out with injury. So I am excited to see Stolarz back because he's just so calm and steady back there, and I think he's going to be the starter going into the playoffs. So I want to see what he can do. I'm assuming he's going to play the next 2 games because why not? Give Joseph Woll a nice 3 weeks off here and get rolling again, when March comes around.
Yeah, 100% agree. And just before I head out, guys, I know it's getting late and it's a shorter stream. Just want to pick your brains here. Wouldn't it be crazy, like, not talking about the Leafs here, but wouldn't it be crazy, say, if Quinn Hughes would get traded to the Devils, they go to overtime with all the Hughes and all the Pettersson from Vancouver playing together? How do you call that game? I saw a thing on that the other day, and I said, that's crazy. I hope I can have a chance to bring it up on the stream. Wouldn't that be crazy?
One of my buddies was saying that you'd have to call them all by first names. But then I made the point that I'm pretty sure there's 2 Elias Petterssons on Vancouver, so they would have to figure that out. But if your name is Pettersson, get ready to sign a contract with the Vancouver Canucks because they want you. They definitely want you. But I think that'd be pretty funny. I know the Devils probably want Quinn Hughes, but I don't think he's not available. I don't think ever.
Yeah, it would be something great to see there, but I won't take up too much of your time, guys. I know you'll get to the 3 stars and whatnot. And, Saturday comes along and you need someone to chat there, Nick. I'll call in for sure and see if Jim can get a call in there. He might still be in a hot tub by then. We don't know, but we'll stay tuned and talk some Leafs talk there. Hopefully we get some updates and trade rumors to talk about.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
We'll get you in on. I think Darius won't be there, so we'll get you in on Saturday. Have a great night.
Yeah, boys.
See
Thanks.
ya. Easy.
Take care, Eric.
Shout out to
Thank you.
Eric in the chat there. Always a great call in. Helps keep me company when Darius takes his Saturdays off. Saturday, Nick will have a 4-hour time difference in Vancouver. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. For me, it's not too bad. It's a pretty solid time for a game. Let's get into our 3 stars
7
here.
o'clock. 7 o'clock local start, so that's fine.
That's fine.
I also want to touch on, while we were in that call and having great trade conversation, our chat was full of Rangers conversation for some reason. There's a lot going on there. Obviously, they just made a big trade. I just want to address it because I feel like from my point of view at least, and I don't know how many people see it, but in the summer, they wanted to trade their captain. The captain found out about that through the news, blocked the trade. Then he was mad about him potentially being traded, so he brought that to the season with him. Then Chris Drury was like, I got to get rid of this guy if we have any hopes of doing anything this season. He finally did that. Some of the players were disgruntled with the way that he did that. Then the GM, Chris Drury, said, hey, I want one of the best players in the league because he scored over 100 points last year. Made a trade for that for an injury-prone, I hate using that term, but he is, Philip Hedl, the other way, and an unproven prospect the other way, and a protected first-round pick for a proven over 100-point player. Comes into the team, has 4 points in his first 2 games with the team. A lot of people are saying that, he was the problem in Vancouver. The way I saw it, JT Miller said, hey, Elias, the way that you're playing is not sustainable, and we're not going to win that way, so can you please change the way that you play? Elias said no, and then he said, oh, okay, I'm going to keep asking you to do that. Obviously, it wasn't that nice, but he comes to New York, fresh start. He's played with the Rangers before. His childhood best friend's there. I think that they're going to make the playoffs. Anyway, Nick, let's get into the third star.
Yeah, little Darius Rangers right there. My third star of the night. We're going to hit these quickly. Actually, I'll just say my three. I'm going to go with Bobby McMann, Austin Matthews, William Nylander.
Bobby McMann, Austin Matthews, William Nylander. I think that's a solid list. I'm going to go with Austin Matthews, William Nylander,
And then Bobby McMann.
and Bobby McMann. Just because I like his game. And I feel like Nylander is the easy answer one. So I'll just
Shout
go
out
with
to
that.
Tavares as well. Good
Tavares,
shout,
great
Paul.
game. Matthew Nye's great game. Morgan Riley.
Also,
good game.
Paul, the Predators are out. They're like not out like technically, but they're I think 43 points. The next closest 51 points. Eric Martin also guys had a question. Eric says you guys plan doing a stream all day on March 7th. Be cool to break down every trade live. The answer to that question is we will be live probably an hour to an hour and a half before the actual deadline, and we'll be doing videos all day on the trades that happen and the rumors that are dropping. That's the most likely answer, rather than a stream all day, probably for the last hour of the deadline, and then half an hour after as trades trickle in, and then we'll do we'll of course do trade videos all day. But yeah, it'll be a full day of there will be a live stream, and we'll be live stream full day.
Ben, so he traded an unprotected 2026 if the Canucks don't get the pick this year, which they will because the Rangers will make the playoffs. So I think he traded a protected 25. I'm pretty sure it was because they're going to get that pick. I don't see the Rangers being, I don't know. You never know. They could miss the playoffs and then make it in the lottery or something like that. But that's just the way I see it, just to adjust that. But Matthews, by the way, impact score chart. We don't have to bring it up, but if you'd like to, Nick, we could. They finally have it up here. Austin Matthews with the game of his life.
Let's have a look.
I'll get this for you here.
Just name it one. It's fine.
Yeah.
Someone says, "Are you guys going to be following the All-Star game or the Four Nations face-off?" Following, yes. Content-wise,
Is there an All-Star game this year? I feel like there isn't.
he's talking about the Four Nations Cup.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like, we'll be following it, and video-wise, we'll probably be mentioning it within some videos, but regarding it being headliners of videos, highly doubtful.
Yeah.
There'll be tons of other stuff to talk about because of the trades and because of a bunch of stuff, and it's only a week, but we'll definitely be covering it in videos as topics, but there's just not enough. Like, there's a lot of Leafs in it, but it's not conglomerated enough. They're all separated, so it would be a tough
There's also no roster freeze during that, so we're still gonna have like regular Leafs content as news comes out. Yeah, and we will also cover, like, if Nylander does something crazy in a game, like, we'll cover all that stuff. So we will to a degree, but I wouldn't say we're gonna go like full on switch to Four Nations face-off coverage or anything like that.
Yeah, Four Nation in lieu of the All-Star. Yeah, exactly. Matthews, crazy game. Morgan Riley, there it is. Insane game. William Nylander. I mean, everybody played insane. Jake McCabe with an off night. Love to see it. Great
Huge
win.
hit. Huge hit from Jake McCabe, though.
Yeah.
Like, obliterated the guy. It was good. Good. Love his game.
Impressive game, just overall. Desperately needed. We almost went an hour still. Time flies.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Not too much negative impact tonight. You notice that there?
Almost all positive.
Yeah, very, very good game.
Four Nations Cup, Paul. Four Nations Cup. We'll be following it. It'll be mentioned in videos, but there's going to be so much talk about trades as during that break that we're going to be focusing, zeroing in on the Leafs, especially because of how important this next stretch of games is. There'll probably be some stuff about injuries, all these things. So we'll keep you up to date with that. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up. It is almost 3 in the morning here for me, so we're going to oh, well, no one donated, but I'll let that up there.
Thank you to everyone who did donate tonight. We appreciate it.
Crazy
Your support has been unbelievable. And thank you to everyone all 51 of you who are still here, because it's almost 1 a.m. Eastern local time here for the Leafs. So crazy. Thank you for the support. And we'll be live again after the game against the Seattle Kraken, which also starts at 9 p.m. on Thursday, which Seattle's in the Pacific time zone, so we get an earlier start. That is the Leafs effect. We get an hour early start there.
Another late one for me. I'll have a coffee or Red Bull, someone said in chat next time. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you all for a video tomorrow. Mo, have a great night as well. Video tomorrow and stream on Thursday.
Leafs Digest, your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first puck drop to the season's fall. Tune in and watch the drama unfold.